Know, which starts right now.
It's not unusual for your doctor's office to call and remind you of an appointment. Just this week, I got a call, I got a postcard reminder, I even got a text on my cell phone. I'm the client. I'm the one paying the bill, so I get a free reminder. When it comes to the state reminding convicted criminals of their responsibilities, well, you're the client. The state has measures in place to keep you, their client, safe. Yeah, but you pay for this reminder. The state uses thousands and thousands of your tax dollars to remind convicted sex offenders that they need to verify their address. 2 Wants to Know's Ben Briscoe looks at the process, your money, and a way to make it pretty much free.
Tanya, sheriff's deputies we talked with say the fact that the state has to mail out these letters is a waste of your tax dollars and a waste of their time. Once we heard about their slow notification process, we looked into what other states do. It turns out many have found a simpler, cheaper way. It's a story you'll see only on 2 Wants to Know. Like most parents, Ron McClain knows to check the sex offender registry map for any criminals living nearby.
So we'll know, be aware about, and you know what I'm saying, have to watch our kids more often.
What he doesn't know, this piece of mail is how the sex offender registry map gets updated. State Bureau of Investigation mails out these letters to each sex offender every 6 months. The letters tell sex offenders to report in person to the sheriff's office to re-verify their address. But if for some reason the post office can't deliver the letter, it could compromise community safety. Guilford County Sheriff's Deputy Brian Henderson says a letter comes back at least once a week in his office alone.
I have to go out to the house and knock on the door, and if they're not there, nobody answers, leave a calling card. I'll go back 2 or 3 times trying to get somebody there at different times of the day.
The officer says that several hours each week he'd normally be doing other things to protect kids, like measuring by hand to make sure offenders really do live far enough away from daycares. A 2 Wants to Know review of laws shows other states update their registries differently. Georgia, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Virginia do not mail out reminder letters. Instead, while in court, sex offenders get 2 dates to check in. It's the offender's responsibility to remind themselves.
Part of being on the registry, it's part of what you did for the crime that you committed. This is what you need to do, so why not make them responsible?
And why not save taxpayer money? Right now, sex offender registry reminder letters are sent certified mail. It costs $6.48 per letter. Each sex offender gets at least 2 a year. Now multiply that by North Carolina's 13,558 registered sex offenders. These letters add up to at least 175,000 of your taxpayer dollars. 2 Wants to Know took our findings to State Representative John Fairclough. He's on the House Justice Committee. This ex-police chief thinks our current law costs too much in money and officers' time away from more hands-on community protection.
Certainly a viable concern for the law enforcement agency.
And Representative Fairclough says there isn't enough time to work on this before the short session starts next week, but he'll be researching, so if a bill is introduced, it won't be until next year. Tanya?
Right, so this is going to take some time here. All right, State Representative Pat Hurley also says she will be looking into this law after 2 Wants to Know brought it to her attention. When 14 people in 3 days complain about a certain scheme, it is time to put a warning out and then repeat it again. Folks in Davidson County are getting calls from a schemer who claims to be a law enforcement officer. The schemer says there's a traffic ticket they forgot, jury duty that they skipped, or something else court-related. Of course, they say that a prepaid credit card will make it all go away. Yeah, right. That's never really on the up and up. But this brings up a really good topic about what can you do if you question whether an officer is real or an impersonator. If you do get a call, make sure they know you do want to cooperate. Say you're going to call the main number back from the department and ask for them by name. If an officer shows up at your door, again, let them know that you are cooperating. Ask to see their badge or ID. You can always call the department or 911 to verify that there is an officer at your location. Now, if you're on the road and you see the blue lights behind you, show that you're cooperating by slowing down, putting on your flashers, drive to a well-lit area. And here, too, you can then ask to see their badge or ID, and you can call the department if necessary. You know Consumer Reports as the ones who test cars, washing machines, and the claims of products. But Consumer Reports analyzes all kinds of data, including the number of cesarean deliveries in the United States. Their researchers looked at the numbers of C-sections at more than 1,500 hospitals. North Carolina hospitals included in that list. They found at several hospitals more than half the women who expect a low-risk delivery still end up having a C-section. Why should you care? I mean, it's the mom's decision, right? Well, unnecessary C-sections drive up medical costs and increase risks for moms and babies.
Melik Spiros was looking forward to a natural childbirth. But when her oldest child was born, Melik says she felt pressured by her doctor to have a C-section.
He said because of the shape of my pelvis that I wouldn't be able to deliver a baby of any size, average, small, big, whatever.
But when her youngest came along, Melik was able to give birth naturally.
I really feel very lucky and very blessed.
Nationwide, almost 1/3 of babies are delivered by C-section. And Consumer Reports analysis finds the rate is high in many hospitals, even for low-risk deliveries. That is, for women who haven't had a C-section before, don't deliver prematurely, and are pregnant with a single baby who is properly positioned.
There are situations when a C-section is the safest option, but the vast majority of women who anticipate a low-risk delivery should expect to have a natural birth.
Consumer Reports says the hospital you choose can make a big difference in whether or not you have a C-section. Researchers analyzed data from over 1,500 hospitals in the 22 states where the data is available.
For low-risk deliveries, we found that C-section rates ranged from less than 5% to more than 50%.
Some hospitals are working to reduce the number of C-sections they perform.
Cesarean sections are really not the easy way out. There's consequences of performing cesarean sections in that some of those patients will need repeat cesarean sections. Some of those patients will have an increase in infections, readmissions to the hospital, things like that.
Melik Spiros now teaches other women about how to avoid unnecessary C-sections.
Again?
Consumer Reports says ask the person who will deliver your baby about the hospital's C-section rates in general. The lower the rate, the better. Consumer Reports broke down the numbers for North Carolina hospitals. Hospitals in Surry and Alamance County scored the best. Hospitals in High Point and Thomasville did not. You can take a look at all of the postings on WFMYnews2.com. Right now, 2 Wants to Know is taking you somewhere you've probably never been before. This is a live look at the Chick-fil-A at the Friendly Center in Greensboro. And yes, many of you have been in the restaurant and through the drive-thru, but most likely, you've never been on the roof all day long in this 90-degree weather. 2 deputies have been on the roof. They're raising awareness and money for Special Olympics in an event called Cops on Top. Lachelle Yates is there, and we'll be checking in with her, yes, on top of the roof as well, for more information on the event in about 10 minutes. Well, the cops on top of the roof are a good reminder that first responders spend a lot of their time working for the community. It's not all car crashes, medical emergencies, and fires. In fact, first responders spend a lot of time giving you free services. Most city and county fire departments offer free smoke alarms to homeowners and free batteries to go in them. Fire departments, police departments, the highway patrol, they'll help you install or check your child car seats for free. You can't just show up, but you can call and make an appointment. And many fire departments and police departments offer free home safety checks. They will literally walk through and around your home to point out anything that could be a hazard. There are many other free services. For most of them, you do have to prove that you're a city or county resident, but there's one freebie that you can really cash in on where they really don't want to know your name or your address, and it deals with unwanted medicines. The freebie in 60 seconds. Greensboro and High Point police have collection boxes for any unwanted medicines. Remove all personal information. We've got the box locations on our website.
High Point, you're brave today, up around 90 degrees, the only city in the Tri to reach that 90-degree mark. Greensboro, Winston-Salem holding in the upper 80s right now at 88 degrees. Feels like temperatures also at 88 degrees. At some point today, we actually did have cooler feels like temperatures than the actual temperature because of the dry air and that breeze that we had through the afternoon. A nice evening on the way, 75 degrees by 9 o'clock. We'll see 68 degrees by midnight. Abundant sunshine to start off your Friday with temperatures near 63 degrees. A good way to go into The last day of the week, however, we will have a small chance of some rain tomorrow afternoon. But look at this heat just taking over the eastern half of the United States. 88 degrees in Chicago, 85 in Cleveland, and 83 degrees currently in Cincinnati, Ohio. There's a good bit of shower and thunderstorm activity across portions of the central part of the United States. In fact, tornado warnings in effect through portions of Minnesota right now. We've got a clear sky across our neck of the woods. However, we will see some increasing cloud cover as we go through tomorrow afternoon. You'll see this here with the Futurecast. We'll keep it clear tonight, starting off the day with temperatures in the low and mid 60s. Increasing cloud cover through tomorrow. Maybe an isolated shower or thunderstorm, more likely over the foothills and mountains tomorrow, and then keeping a chance of some afternoon showers and storms as we head into Saturday afternoon, as we see a little more moisture building in advance of this weakening cold front as it drops in out of the Midwestern states. For tonight, though, a clear and really nice night. Temperatures near 63 degrees. Winds will stay out of the southwest around 5 miles per hour. Tomorrow afternoon, back up to 88 degrees with a small chance of isolated afternoon storms. Tanya, back into you.
I thought it felt fabulous out there today. Yes. All right, let's get caught up on some of the stories making headlines for today. Frank Mickens, you came inside because you were outside for a little while. You came inside too?
I know. There is still some work to be done. And
Yes,
of course, we
so.
are talking about basically a formality at this point. A signature, really. All that's left is President Obama's signature, and the Kyla Davenport Child Protection Act becomes law. The law is named after a 3-year-old Kyla Davenport. The North Carolina girl was severely beaten by her stepfather in 2012, and she died in March. The act directs the Attorney General to report to Congress every 3 years on the penalties for child abuse laws in all 50 states. Congressman Robert Pittenger sponsored that law. According to representatives in his office, the goal is for the report to spotlight states with inadequate child abuse laws so those states can then make changes to those laws. North Carolina took a closer look at the child abuse laws after Kyla's case came to light, and Governor Pat McCrory signed Kyla's law, which went into effect last year. Now the minimum penalty for aggravated child abuse is 8 to 10 years in prison.
All right, so make sure you're looking at your television for these next stories in case you're busy. Some of these images are jaw-dropping. You won't forget it. First, look at this. 1.5 tons of marijuana confiscated in Kernersville. That's where police say they got a tip and found it in a warehouse. It's worth anywhere between $1.6 and $6.5 million. No one's been arrested yet. The investigation is not yet over. And in Charlotte, firefighters on their way to a medical call needed a rescuing of their own. Their truck overturned and caught fire. All 4 firefighters were wearing seat belts. There were only minor injuries here, but everyone's okay. The cause is still under investigation.
Well, cops get to go to some pretty cool places that we don't get to see, and today we're taking you to them. 2 Wants to Know's Lachelle Yates is on the roof of the Chick-fil-A at the Friendly Center in Greensboro.
All right, we got somebody with their window down. That means he wants us to talk to him.
Cops on Tops is an annual fundraiser here at Chick-fil-A. The Guilford County Sheriff's Department has been doing this with Chick-fil-A for about 14 years, and it's all for a great cause with the Special Olympics. Now, it's been a really hot day, but we have 2 folks who've been out here for pretty much since the beginning of the day, and I'm going to grab retired Sheriff D.K. Jones. He's agreed to talk to us. Hey, talk to us for a couple seconds. We're just going to take you away. I know this is really important. But why do you could be doing anything with your day off, or your days off as retired. Why do you give this to the Special Olympics?
It's about the athletes and their success, and we're here. We're trying to raise money, but we're also trying to raise awareness for the athletes. And the more we can bring them to the forefront, then the more we can get people to come out and just realize just exactly what Special Olympics does for these folks.
Well, and I know this is near and dear to the folks here at Chick-fil-A because there are 2 folks here on staff who work and have won medals with the Special Olympics, and you know these guys. Tell me about them.
They're just a super group of folks. Most of the athletes that you will see that participate in Special Olympics that are adult athletes hold down jobs every day. They're athletes that work here at Chick-fil-A. One of the athletes works at Harris Teeter's just over across the way, and then one who was involved in Special Olympics a number of years ago actually worked here at Belk. So they participate in the programs, but they work every day, and they're just normal citizens. They're normal folks just like you and I, and that's what we're trying to show people by raising the money, that they're normal. They're no different than you and I are.
Well, thank you very much for your time today. We appreciate it. Continued good success. So far, they've raised about $1,400. They'll be out here through Friday and Saturday raising money. So stop by. You can get some free stuff too, but raise money for Special Olympics.
All right, love that. On top of the roof. Thanks so much, Lachelle. Cops on Top goes on through Saturday at the Friendly Center and Chick-fil-A. You can hear them calling out people in line. They're on the roof the majority of the day. You can show your support with donations in their bucket, or you can buy one of their T-shirts or hats. Prices range from $15 to $20, and we've got more information on WFMYnews2.com. Well, by the way, the Chick-fil-A at Friendly Center there, as people are starting to get their dinners and things like that, find out which gas station restaurant has a perfect score and which downtown restaurant has an 85. Restaurant Report Card is coming up next. It's the most basic act of cleaning, washing your hands. Do workers really need to be reminded? Chef and GTCC culinary instructor Keith Gardner tells us why the sign is important in tonight's Restaurant Report Card lesson.
The regulation states that the sign needs to be there basically to remind the employees to wash their hands whenever they're changing tasks or after they've used the restroom, things like that. And so it needs to be right near the hand sink, just as a reminder. I think most kitchen employees know that they need to wash their hands, but it does, if there's somebody new or something, it might just remind them and reinforce it while they're new on the job. Hand washing is the #1 thing that you can do to prevent foodborne illness of any type for anybody and prevent contaminating the food. I mean, this is what we use to handle the foods, and the more you wash your hands, the safer your customers are going to be. And that goes for at home too. That's the #1 thing you can do to prevent foodborne illness, bar none.
Restaurants can lose up to 2 points for this violation. Well, it's going to be a nice weekend to eat outside, but before you choose that restaurant, especially if you're taking mom out, you need to hear who has the high and low scores of the week. Lauren Melvin has this week's 2 Wants to Know Restaurant Report Card.
We have 2 spots that have some serious work to do and 2 others that get serious props this week. Let's get to those first.
Sheets on West Market Street in Greensboro earned a perfect 100, and Dottie's Diner on Auto Park Drive in Graham earned a 99. On the other hand, District Bar and Grill at 770 Liberty View Court in Winston-Salem earned an 85.5, a B. The inspector said raw beef was being stored improperly. There were fruit flies present in the bar on the 2nd floor, and extensive cleaning was needed. But the owner told us they're fixing all of the problems, so they are prepared to call the inspector back to re-inspect. #1 Chinese restaurant at 2820 University Parkway in Winston-Salem earned an 80.5. The inspector said an employee didn't wash their hands properly. There was a pan of chicken stored in a hand sink and containers of food stored on the floor of the cooler. And one of the refrigerators wasn't keeping food cold. It has to be repaired.
Well, 2 spots were re-inspected just this week. Steak and Shake on Lawndale Drive in Greensboro had earned an 86. Their new score is a 93.5. And the dining hall at Winston-Salem State University, they had earned an 80.5. The new score is a 90. You can always check scores for restaurants in your area. Just look on our website, WFMYnews2.com. Graduation season, it is here, and tonight at 6, you're not going to want to miss the story of one very non-traditional student. Frank, I love this story.
I love this story because I don't want to go back to school. I don't ever want to go back to school. And here's Rosa at age 71. She's got kids and grandkids, but still decided to go back to school. And hers is a story we certainly can all learn from.
This is not about Rosa. Believe me, you can find that determination that this is what I want. This is where I want to go. This is what I want to be. All of that is about believing in yourself.
Preach, Rosa. Don't want to miss that story on WFMY News 2 at 6.
So you're going to end up at a grocery store sometime this weekend. We know reusable bags are better for the environment. I use them all the time, but you have to use them the right way, and apparently I was not. Washing them every week or every other week, and be sure to put meat and poultry in plastic bags before putting them in the reusable bag. Why? Well, because those are germ incubators. Don't believe me? Wait till you hear this study's findings in 60 seconds. Let's take one more look at the Cops on Top event at the Chick-fil-A on Friendly in Friendly Center in Greensboro. Officers will be rotating and spending all day on the roof to benefit Special Olympics over the next couple of days. We do have full details on our website, WFMYnews2.com. And let me tell you, they heckle you. They've got microphones and they can do it. You don't want to miss 2 Wants to Know tomorrow. Yes, today some Greensboro firefighters helped me experiment with some fire extinguishers. That's all we're going to show you for now because we wanted to see if older fire extinguishers worked without being recharged. We'll have the results tomorrow on 2 Wants to Know. We hope it reminds you to check your fire extinguisher and even just figure out, hey, where is it? Some of you sent us your pictures of where your extinguishers are. Bobby sent us this picture of his extinguisher in between 2 bookshelves. Easy enough to find. Tiffany keeps her extinguisher right near something else that she says will keep her safe. She calls it double protection. We are glad that they know where their fire extinguishers are. Find your extinguisher. Hey, send us a picture. Tweet it at 2WTK or email it to 2WTK@WFMY.com. Thanks for watching 2 Wants to Know. WFMY News 2 at 6 starts now.